The next few days pass quietly with Hieronymous. I spend most mornings lying in the crook of his arm while he reads. Even though he was injured, he still seemed to wake up before me. Part of me wondered if he woke up on purpose so we could get some reading done before I woke up, but he still continued to read until he finished the chapter he was on, whether I was awake or not. He murmurs as he sets the book down on the nightstand beside him. He brushes his hair out of my face as he leans down to plant a kiss on my forehead. How'd you sleep? Better, now that I know that you're safe here, I reply as I smile up at him. Yes, well. Hieronymus sighs as he glances away. I have no intention of putting you through that stress again anytime soon, Tori. Believe me. I still couldn't believe that he had been so reckless to attempt to cast 2 spells at the same time and nearly blew himself up in the process. But then again, I was beginning to see a whole new side to Hieronymus. Now that he was happy and things were finally settling down, it felt like Hieronymus was finally free of Violet's shadow and could pursue the life he always wanted for himself. At least he'll have plenty of time to get some reading done, I tease gently as I reach up and kiss him. He cups my face in one hand as he pushes the kiss deeper, but I smile and wiggle away. We had been intimate a few times since he had returned, but I could tell by how gentle he was and how he flinched when he thought I wasn't looking that he hasn't fully recovered yet. Which reminds me, I have a new book coming in today, I believe, Hieronymus says. I should get to the mailroom and collect my things. I haven't checked it in days. I can go, I volunteer happily. Before he can protest, I scoot out of bed beside him. You should stay in bed and rest. I can order up more tea for you. Hieronymus narrows his eyes at me. So eager to get away from me, all of a sudden? Not that at all, I say with a quick shake of my head. But if you head to the mailroom and then get distracted, I'm just going to worry about you until you get back. Summer classes are starting in 2 days, Hieronymus reminds me. I need to be up and about then anyway. He sighs. But, all right, if you must go, just return quickly. I don't like having you out of my sight any more than you do. I'll be back in a minute. I'm about to promise when I remember that promises and broken vows is what started this whole mess to begin with. It seemed unlikely I'd be able to make it back in 60 seconds anyway. Regardless, I throw my hoodie and jeans over my tank top and pajama shorts and slip my fuzzy socks into my sneakers as I make my way out the door. I definitely didn't need the jeans. It was hot outside, and I almost couldn't remember how hot it had been last summer. I had gone to the lake with Virginia and Ellen several times, but now that I had truly embraced my marriage with Grabiner, would he come with us? Somehow, I doubted it. I could picture him shirtless at the beach, wet droplets of water sticking to his toned chest, but he would never be caught in such a state of undress by his other students. Although it would be faster to take the trails, I still decide to stay on the main pathways to get to the mailroom. I didn't think anything would happen, but then again, I never thought that my memory would be wiped and I would spend 7 months trying to figure out why I was in love with a professor who turned out to be my husband. As I unlock the door to the mailroom, the reminder that I almost died when his family madness almost took my soul sends shivers up my spine, and I decide to get in and out as fast as I can. I quickly find his bulging mailbox and dump the contents on the table as I begin to sort through it. His book is easy enough to find. It's a large wrapped tome that has a return address in a language I don't recognize. Still, one envelope in particular catches my eye. It's addressed to Mrs. Tori Grabiner. The address looks to be from England. Well, it was addressed to me, after all. Ignoring the pit in my stomach, I open it quickly. It's a brief letter from Grabby's father saying that he was in the area and would like to meet for dinner. The note is short and formal with a cursive signature stating Aloysius Grabiner, 16th Viscount Montague, at the bottom. If he retired or passed away before Hieronymus could make up his mind, that would make him the 17th Viscount Montague, and me his Viscountess. At least, I think that's how it works. I still hadn't learned anything about English nobility or titles since the last time I heard about it, and it wasn't something I was ready to discuss with Hieronymous just yet, not when I still had at least 2 more years of schooling here at Iris Academy ahead of me. I read the letter a few times over and used the inspect spell on it to see if there's anything I'm missing, but that seems to be it. Knowing that I am probably taking too long and Hieronymous is going to get worried about me, I quickly bundle up the mail and his neatly wrapped tome and head out into the hallway, teleporting back to his room to make it back in record time. "There you are," he says as I walk in. I'm a bit disappointed to see that he has moved from the bed to the desk and has made an attempt to get dressed. "I was beginning to think that you had gotten lost." "Sorry, there was a lot of it," I say as I place the stack of mail neatly on his desk. "I tried to sort it by what I thought was how most important to you." "How thoughtful," he replies. "Kindness and courage," I remind him as I hand him his tome. "Here's your book. And there was also this." I hand him the ripped envelope, making sure it was face up to allow him to easily read my name on the front. Even still, he looks incensed. "Why would you open this?" he demands. "You have no idea what could have been in it. It could have been spilled." "I cast inspect on it," I tell him quietly. Things had been getting better lately, and I didn't want him to be mad at me. "It had my name on it. Sorry." "From now on, any correspondence that you receive with Mrs. Grabiner on it should be opened by me first. Is that understood?" I nod my head. "Especially from this address," he continues. He opens the letter immediately, and I wait patiently for him to finish reading it. Like me, he flips the card around, expecting more, but it doesn't say anything else besides the short note saying that he was in the area and would like to get dinner. Hieronymous has the most bemused expression on his face, but at least he doesn't look angry. "Are you going to answer it?" I ask him, but Hieronymous is silent as he looks deep in thought. "Wait a minute, are you thinking about actually going?" Truth be told, I had always been curious about what Hieronymous's family was like. I knew his mother died at a young age, and his father had a few companions since then, but Hieronymus was raised by a series of foster families that he hadn't bothered keeping in touch with. Since I was a wild seed raised by non-magic parents, I made the second choice and decided to let them forget that I ever existed when I was under the duress of the memory spell. I'm still not sure I would have chosen differently, but sometimes it was difficult to think that my parents would never meet the man I married. "Would you like to go?" Hieronymus asks suddenly as he looks up at me. "What?" My jaw drops in shock. "Don't get me wrong, but I thought you hated your father." "The feeling is, suffice it to say, quite mutual," he says as he glances down at the card again. I can only imagine what Potsdam has told him about our arrangement since last we spoke. "And when was that?" I ask. "Some time ago." Hieronymus shrugs as if it doesn't really matter. I suppose it doesn't. "But this letter isn't addressed to me. It's addressed to you. So, Tori, what do you say? Do you want to meet my father?"